Hey, DJ here from PTA. Didn't do any trades today, but we definitely had a couple good runners. Want to go over those three stocks. All three were mentioned inside of our Discord. So, guys, if you're not a part of our community, you're basically missing out. There's a lot of communities out there. There's a lot of free ones. There's a lot of ones that's paying. If you paying for a community, more power to you. But a lot of the information as far as techniques and trading styles, you're going to really learn from our community. So I encourage everyone, go ahead and join our Discord. But the three stocks I want to go over is PETZ, BHAT, and QURE. All three were mentioned in our Discord. So many of our members took advantage of those trades. And I'm very happy for those who did very well. I had a couple members reach out and they had some of their best trades ever in their career off these three tickers. So we're going to break down each one of these trades to kind of give you the psychology of what was going on, and then take it from there. So let's talk about the overall consensus of the market. Market is bouncing up. Some people believe we're in a recovery. The overall trend to me, it has bounced a bit, but again, when I look at the overall chart, we're still in the downtrend. We're still falling. So any little pop, I think, is just shorts re-adding into the position. None of the fundamentals have changed as far as our economy or anything like that. Certain things have slowed up, but for the most part, gas still high, food price still high, inflation still exists. So as a result, I think we're still in that trend, and time will tell the rest. I think we'll be in that trend for most of the summer. It's just my belief. So the first trade I want to go over is PETZ. This trade in particular, a low hanger as far as the price and everything like that, penny stock or whatnot. But anyway, one of the key levels, as you can see, it bounced and went up off of this level, and then it treated it like support, and then it broke down. So it being realistically probably more like 2, maybe. No, I'm probably gonna say more like 210. That's probably going to collectively keep all three of those right there. The close price on this was 215. Open price was 213. The low was 207. The close price on this one was 212, and then open price was 215. So this closed with about a 2 cent or so difference. 3 cent difference. 20-cent range, not a lot of range, not a lot of volume for that day. It was only 329,000. And then we pulled back, and then we found some support at 185. Now let's zoom in on this on the 5 minutes so you can kind of look at everything. Now basically the stock hit its low for the day, and then it kind of just went sideways. Now let's pull this out to a 15-minute, and it starts to look a certain way. Now, if you can look very closely, you can see the leg right there. So looking at this, that was probably the area right there. And realistically, let's go here. Let's clear this out. Go to the 30-minute. There go your area right there. So I like to see those two descending candles and then a break above the trend. So that's what you end up getting right there off of the 30-minute. Right there. So now when you zoom in onto the 1 minute, you can see right after that, volume started to pick up, and then we got a burst. So right off of that 201 area is where it took off. So looking at that area, let's go back. this was the area here. So remember we said 210. We'll zoom in down on the 1 minute. So as soon as it hit that area, took off. So pretty much that's where everyone stepped in at, and those shares were released. But you can see the pattern kind of setting up prior to it, even though there was light volume. And this is what traders look for. They look for those plays, looking at those patterns, and when those patterns come about, they take advantage of them and take a squat and take a really good trade and get into that trading and get out. So this was a pretty good trade. I mean, easily. I mean, worst case, if you got in here in the twos, you would have had 10-cent risk. Easily the type of gain you're looking for. 10-cent rip. And I mean, it went $1.42 one way. So it's just something to think about when you're placing these trades. Where you're getting at is very critical. Very, very, very critical. So let's go back to the next trade. That trade being QURE. Now QURE, looking at the areas, you can kind of see the zones already picked out. This right here was the area which was previous month high. This played as support and resistance right there. So let's draw a line there. Remember guys, I always draw my lines out early during the day so you know what you're working with. So we'll make that 240. So we got a rejection here, rejection, pulled down, came back up and retested and pulled away. Came back in that area, retested, retested, pulled away. So this is an area. Remember it rejected it here, rejected, broke out, pulled back, respected it, pulled back, and then broke down from there. Came back, retested, and broke down from there. So that was a key area. And this is how you look for those key areas when you're placing trades. Now some people, this being 18, I'm going to just make that a whole $1.18. So that was a key area there. And that's probably what made the stock interesting. Now let's look at the intraday areas. And we're going to break that down to a 1 hour. As you can see, the stock kind of popped up. And what I'm wondering is, let me look at this 4 hour. So we had a big downtrend, a pop. And then it kind of went sideways and continued with the pop. So it pretty much squoze everybody out at previous month high. Let's go down to the 5 minute. So this is probably where I would have got in at, was off of this pullback right here. So somewhere here, risking it here. Let's take a look at that on the 1 minute. So yeah, that's probably where I would end up getting in at. So right here, look at the trend. You broke it. You got your higher lows. So this looks just like that. So there go your support. You reached it. Had a retest here. You would have entered in right here. 1780, 1781. Risking 10 cents, maybe 20 cents just to be safe. And then you had a nice little rip from this area. And now it's to $1.40. So 20 cent risk, $1.40. That's definitely a 7 to 1. Pretty good trade. So that's how you gotta kind of look at these stocks and areas that you are looking at when it comes to trades. Look at those key areas, wait for support, and then jump in. And that's when you will know you're in a pretty good area on that stock. Now QURE, let me take a look at this because this is something I've never played. They had a good low dose data from Huntington's gene therapy trial. So it definitely had news. They announced an update on their phase 1-2 clinical trials. for treatments for Huntington's disease. So that's the reason why this stock in particular was up. Good news, people had eyes on it. It actually rotated its float 6 times, a little over 6.5 times. So it was a pretty decent trade. Let me double check that. That was actually a different stock that traded like that. This one here traded on low volume, actually only had 4 million, but it was up 863% from previous day's volume. So that's probably what had a lot of people looking at it, as well as the news. So open up at 17, went as high as 19. Let's see, 19. Let's see what that price is. 19.58. So good dollar move off of that, and you can't really complain about that type of trade. Low risk trade, high reward. It's the probability of the name of this game. All right. So the next trade want to go over. This is BHAT. Now this is the one that a lot of the traders in the room were eyeing, made really good money off of it. BHAT, it traded. It traded. Let's see, divided by 6, 35 times, 35.5 times its float. Float being 6.182 million. So this one was definitely on the go, definitely a runner, and probably just crowdness. It was just a lot of people into this trade, so you had to be very patient in this particular trade. So let's look at the key areas. So we're looking at this from the point of view of where it's bouncing from. So this definitely pre-market high. I'm sorry, previous month high was a key area. See how it wicked down, then wicked and pulled down from there. This became a key area. Previous week's high was a key area. So yeah, this was an interesting stock to begin with. You had some big rejections here. So this was a key area here, right there. Call that 240. And it's safe to say 280 was a good area too. See how it right here let me zoom in on that for you guys. See how right here it rejected it, used it as support and resistance. Now support, bounced away. Then it came right back to there, used it as support, support, and then it broke down as resistance. That's a good area. Those are key areas. So I was very surprised the stock didn't hold or didn't close above 280. Close above 280, it probably would have been a really good idea that tomorrow might be a second day continuation. But it still had a close up pretty high, didn't give back too much. So let's break this down to the hour. Now, one of the things you can see here off of the hour is you got your first line break, which was off of the hour. Go down, you can see it here. So this was started the first part of the move, this right here. Some people saw that, they jumped in. The next part of the move was probably here. The reason I say that is you got a clean break over the 150s. This setup is A. So when you're looking at your patterns, remember that the stock is in the uptrend. It's up on the daily, up on the weekly. So this pull right here was your A. When it found support B, then that's when it started to kind of move. And this is where C was, that curl that we always talk about. So me being how I trade, I always look at the trend break. So when the trend break happened here, that would have made me super confident. See the lower highs and then the lower lows. That was a pullback. So when we look at this, go back down to the 1 minute, it looks a little bit clearer. again, we got this pop and then the retest. Probably would have jumped in right there at 170s, risking the 160s right here, 150, 160s right there. Could have easily got in about right there. It ended up pulling up 210s, pull back, and then continue on. And it actually went ramp up to 349. It hit that 240. It respected it, came back, respected it. Look how it rejected the 280. As soon as it hit 280, it pulled back. Respected it. They washed out the weak longs, and then they recaptured it because they wanted to take it higher anyway. So they had to buy the price or get the price at a cheaper price. So they just dropped it and slammed it on everybody. So that was one of the biggest things when you look at that trade. So once it pulled back, shook everybody out, the weak longs, they took it higher, came back, respected the 280, and then went back up to 349. And then you see how it plays around them same areas before. Respected it there, rejected it there, respected it here, respected it there, and they do it just to take it up higher. So these lines or these areas are respected and tested time and time again. Your key goal is to see them, know where they are as critical areas, and pay attention to the price action in those areas. Once it hits those areas, then you make a decision on what you want to do, and you wait for your pullback to make your trade. So this here, pretty solid trade. I know a few of the members here made some tremendous amount of money on this one, and I'm proud of you guys. And we did very well as a group on this trade. So guys, take a look at the Discord, review over the trades. We use screenshots. We keep a lot of information in there. It's just a great library of information for you to go to and check out and get an understanding of how to trade. All right, guys. If you like this video, you learned something new, go ahead and click that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you won't miss any of our other videos. And as I tell all new traders and old, stay studying and stay focused.